Back in 2025, the common advice was simple: don't buy a graphics card yet, just wait, prices should fall. So many of us waited. But now it's July 2026. In Malaysia, MSI's official store lists an RTX 5070 Ti at RM 4,399, but it's sold out. A premium ROG Strix is listed locally at RM 5,738, and it's also sold out. After all that waiting, why didn't GPU prices fall? Normally, a new GPU launch follows a familiar cycle. Launch hype meets limited stock, supply improves, and prices gradually settle. That is why waiting used to make sense. More cards reached shops, retailers competed, and buyers eventually found better deals. Going into 2026, many buyers expected the same thing: wait a little longer, then purchase closer to normal retail prices. But the market did not move in one clean direction. Some models became cheaper, while popular versions stayed expensive or sold out. That is the important distinction. Stock, buyer demand, memory costs, and competition affected different graphics cards in different ways. Now, let's examine these forces one by one. First, separate four prices. MSRP is the launch benchmark. Starting price is the cheapest advertised model. Listed price is what the webpage shows. In-stock price is what you can actually buy. In January 2025, NVIDIA announced the RTX 5070 Ti. Its launch price was $749. But that was a benchmark, not a guaranteed price for every partner card. On January 7th, Malaysian tech site Loyat reported the RTX 5070 Ti starting at 3,890 ringgit. That was a starting point, not every model's retail price. By late July 2026, the gap remained. MSI Malaysia listed a Ventus at 4,399 ringgit, above the 3,890 ringgit starting figure. In the United States, Newegg listed a new PNY card at 999 United States dollars and 99 cents, well above NVIDIA's 749 United States dollars launch price. The cheaper 3,890 ringgit listing was still on MSI Malaysia. At first, it looked like the price buyers had been waiting for, but the purchase button was disabled and marked sold out, leaving only Notify Me. The price existed, but buyers could not actually purchase the card that day. And this is where the model matters. Here is another detail that matters. NVIDIA announced Founders Editions for the RTX 5090, 5080, and 5070, but no Founders Edition was announced for the RTX 5070 Ti. At launch, the desktop RTX 5070 Ti was offered through board partner models from Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, PNY, and Zotac. The NVIDIA GPU is the same, but cooling design and pricing can differ. Depending on the model, board partners can change the cooler, board, and power factory settings and warranty. These differences may improve temperature, noise, or appearance, but they can also raise the final price. MSI Malaysia listed the Shadow at 3,890 ringgit and the Ventus at 4,399. That's a 509 ringgit gap, but both were sold out, so these were listed prices only. Next comes demand, because prices only fall when sellers have a reason to cut them. That usually happens when sales weaken or retailers need to clear excess stock. But NVIDIA's fiscal 2026 results pointed in the opposite direction. NVIDIA's full-year gaming revenue grew from $11.4 billion to a record $16 billion, 41% higher than the previous year. NVIDIA's fourth quarter gaming revenue reached $3.7 billion. That was 47% higher than the same quarter a year earlier, and NVIDIA attributed the year-over-year growth to strong Blackwell demand in gaming. But there is an important catch. Gaming revenue was 13% lower than the previous quarter as channel inventory moderated after strong holiday demand. Both comparisons are true. The quarterly dip did not necessarily mean weak demand. Healthy demand gives sellers less pressure to cut prices, which can help GPU prices stay higher. That is a reasonable inference, not direct proof. Then we reach the part many buyers never see: memory. Every modern graphics card needs high-speed video memory beside the GPU chip, and its cost matters too. Expensive memory can therefore leave less room to discount the whole card. NVIDIA officially lists the RTX 5070 Ti with 16 GB of GDDR7. That confirms the memory type and capacity, but it does not reveal how much the memory itself adds to the card's retail price. Samsung's April 2026 results reported higher average selling prices and limited supply availability in its memory business. It also cited industry-wide memory price increases, a broad signal, not a cost figure for one graphics card. Three signals point in the same direction: limited supply, higher average selling prices, and industry-wide memory price increases. Together, they suggest less room for GPU discounts, but that remains a reasonable inference, not direct proof. In July 2026, TrendForce reported constrained graphics DRAM supply and rising GDDR6 and GDDR7 prices. But remember, this is third-party research, not a statement from a memory manufacturer. Memory is only one graphics card cost. Partners also need the GPU chip, PCB, power delivery, cooling, assembly, and shipping. If several costs stay high, shelf prices have less room to fall. AI enters the story here, but not in the way social media often claims. AI companies were not simply buying every gaming card. The real connection is indirect, starting deeper inside the supply chain. AI companies generally buy specialized data center accelerators, not retail RTX 5070 Ti cards. These are different products and sales channels. So the gaming price connection is indirect, not AI buyers clearing store shelves. DGX B200 uses HBM3E, while the RTX 5070 Ti uses GDDR7. They are different, but both depend on fabrication, packaging, and investment, so AI demand can shape expansion priorities. In fiscal 2026, NVIDIA reported $193.7 billion from data center versus $16 billion from gaming. This does not prove restricted supply, but it shows where the strongest business incentive sits. These figures give us context, not a confession. They show NVIDIA's strongest business incentives and help explain why there may be less urgency to discount gaming cards, but they do not prove deliberate retail supply restriction. Competition should normally push prices down, and AMD did bring real pressure. AMD announced the Radeon RX 9070 XT at $599 US, while the RX 9070 started at $549. Above AMD's $599 ceiling, NVIDIA kept climbing. $749 for the RTX 5070 Ti, $999 for the RTX 5080, and $1999 for the RTX 5090. So competition was strongest in the upper mid-range, where AMD offered nearby launch prices. Above that band, its February announcement offered no direct higher-tier Radeon model, so NVIDIA faced weaker price pressure. Price is not the only reason buyers switch. Some prefer NVIDIA for CUDA software, DLSS and RTX features, familiar workflows, or brand trust. That can weaken the effect of a cheaper rival. For Malaysian buyers, global pricing is only the first layer. A graphics card may begin with a US dollar price, but it still passes through currency conversion and Malaysia's local supply chain before reaching the shelf. The dollar price is only the base. After conversion come freight, handling, distribution, and local warranty support. Because these costs vary by shipment and seller, Malaysian models can reach store shelves at noticeably different prices. Then there's the model mix. If Malaysian shelves mainly carry larger coolers, factory overclocked cards, or premium partner models, while cheaper designs are limited, the average local price can remain higher. MSI Malaysia listed this RTX 5070 Ti Shadow at 3,890 ringgit, but the same page marked it sold out. The price was visible, but the card was not available to buy. Not every GPU stayed high. AMD priced the RX 9070 XT at $599 United States dollars. Later listings in Malaysia show a different pattern. Launch coverage in Malaysia listed several RX 9070 XT partner cards at around 3,499 ringgit. That gives us a useful local benchmark before later listings moved lower. By late July 2026, eSiTech listed a Sapphire Pulse RX 9070 XT at 3,349 ringgit. That was 150 rupees below the earlier reference, a modest drop, not a collapse. So yes, some graphics cards became cheaper, but 1 Rn 150 reduction on one model from one retailer cannot represent the entire market. The broad correction buyers expected across the cards they wanted most still did not arrive. There is also a fresh warning. On the 27th of July, Tom's Hardware reported higher RTX 50 series distributor pricing in China. This is third-party reporting, not proof that Malaysia will follow. The report said MSI's updated China distributor prices were roughly 10 to 20% higher than 1 week earlier. Those earlier prices were already above base MSRP, meaning prices rose again from an elevated starting point. The 59% figure uses a different comparison. Colorful's premium RTX 5080 Vulcan WOC was 59% above base MSRP. With no earlier colorful price, this was not a 1-week increase. This is still third-party reporting focused on China, so it does not prove Malaysia or global markets will follow, but it suggests upward price pressure remains possible in 2026. So should you buy now or keep waiting? I would not decide from a general market prediction. Instead, use 4 practical rules: the exact card, the performance you need, your price ceiling, and the alternatives available. First, track the exact model, not just the GPU. MSI Shadow, Ventus, and ROG Strix may use the same RTX 5070 Ti, but their cooling and warranty can create different premiums. Second, compare cards by the performance you actually need. Start with your target, 1440p or 4K gaming, ray tracing or creator workloads. Then compare trusted benchmarks across brands instead of choosing a card only because of its logo. Third, set your price ceiling before browsing. Start from 3,890 ringgit, decide the premium you can accept, and compare it with live listings like the 5,499 ringgit local quote. If a card crosses your limit, walk away. GPU prices didn't fall because 4 conditions never aligned: more supply, lower costs, weaker demand, and stronger competition. Supply improved, but not evenly across every model. Meanwhile, memory costs and availability stayed under pressure, so these first 2 conditions never fully aligned. Gaming demand remained strong, while competition was powerful in some price tiers but weak in others, so the other 2 conditions never fully aligned. Partner card premiums and Malaysia's stock mix meant waiting did not guarantee a lower price even after several months. Thanks for watching. In conclusion, prices may not fall soon. My pick? I'd wait, unless my GPU begs for retirement. What's your pick and why? Comment below and subscribe for more.